Hello and welcome to the R8 Group Daily Webcast. Every weekday at 3:30, we host a live webcast where our panel of experts discuss a wide range of topics to help you survive and thrive during lockdown. Tomorrow, we have a special Friday treat for you where we will be joined by Sassy Sidra, who will be sharing their delicious cider cocktail recipes with us. Today, though, we have our very own sassy duo, Sonia and Steph, who will be taking us through a rare tea cocktail shake-along. If you have any questions throughout the broadcast, please do send them through and we will try and answer as many as we can. Over to you guys.
Hi guys, I think Steph's going to lead us today in outlining what the ingredients are. Bear with us 2 seconds.
Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon. Happy Thirsty Thursday. So this afternoon what we're going to be making is a lovely Jalapeno Later, which I came up with a couple of I think it was bank holidays ago. We've had a few in lockdown now. So what we're going to start off with is some lovely Mezcal. And I've chosen the Pensador Mezcal, which we'll just go through a little bit about what Mezcal is, because I get a lot of questions about it. For me, it's personally one of my favorite spirits. It's like a tequila. So all tequilas are mezcals, but not all mezcals are tequila. So it's the same sort of principle as champagne. So to be a tequila, it has to come from a specific region in Mexico and only use the blue agave plant, whereas mezcal can come from, I think it's 9 different areas in Mexico, and it can be made from about 30 different types of agave and not blue agave. So that's the sort of main difference in where it's from. How they're actually made is super different as well. So with mezcal itself, the heart of the agave plant, which is called the pina as well, is placed and cooked inside earthen pits, which are lined with lava rocks and filled with wood and charcoal before then being distilled in clay pots. Whereas tequila is a little bit different. They steam their agave plant and then it's distilled in copper pots. So you can see where the real smoky flavor comes from in a mezcal, which I personally really love. I find it a bit more palatable and easier to go down, and it doesn't taste like sort of Friday nights when you're 18. Isn't that right, Sonia?
No, definitely. I prefer it too, chick, honestly. It's good stuff.
So we've got the mezcal, then we move on to a lovely Cointreau, which is another component of this. So the Cointreau is an orange liqueur, so you can sort of sub it out for any other orange liqueurs. After that, we go on to the lovely lime juice. So I've pre-squeezed my limes today. You need about 30 mils. So that's usually about a whole lime if it's a super juicy one. We've got some lovely chilies. So I use jalapenos because we're doing with the Mexican mezcal. It works really well. But you can just use regular chilies from Lidl. I would suggest using the green ones over the red ones, just for pure aesthetic reasons in the glass. And then onto the thyme. So we've just got some lovely sprigs of thyme here, just for a little bit of a savory flavor to it. And then the sweet components as well. We go on to agave syrup, which I know that Sonia has. But I've actually made a little sugar syrup just so you can see both of the two differences. So obviously the agave syrup will work really, really well with the mezcal. But if you don't have any of that, never fear, because you can make yourself a little simple syrup out of 1 part water, 2 parts sugar. So super simple, and it keeps for ages. You can see I've sort of made a massive batch here because I do like a cocktail over the weekend. Now, the reason why this is a rare tea cocktail shake along is because what we've done is we've actually infused our mezcal here with a lovely Malawi Moto from rare tea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over to Sonia so that she can tell you a little bit about what rare tea is and why we've chosen this exact tea for the mezcal. Sonia.
Hi again, guys. So this is the Malawi, smoked Malawi, which Steph was speaking about. Essentially, the reason that we chose it is because it's got a really smoky finish to it. So I think when you're trying to recreate a cocktail like this, which has lots of savoury notes, I think it works super, super well. To be honest with you, we absolutely adore working with Rare Tea and all of the different flavours they've got. And we've been doing some really interesting infusion experiments. Rare Tea are real advocates of high quality rare lot teas, working direct with small farmers, and they can make a real difference to those farmers' lives when they purchase those lots. We also love all of the work they do with the Rare Charity, and really investing money back into the countries where the tea is grown to fund education, scholarships, university, etc. So if you're not familiar with them, definitely check them out and check out the Rare Charity. And the Malawi, if you do order it online, it's pretty inexpensive. You can get really small pouches delivered to you online, and we just think that it's amazing, isn't it, Steph, when you're doing cocktails and things, just because the depth of flavour is so profound.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
And it really sort of picks up that real smoky flavour in the mezcal, but it doesn't overpower any of the other sort of slightly more subtle flavours like the citrusy notes in it either. Yeah, so I really love this. We've been doing a lot of work around infusions, haven't we, with different kinds of spirits. So these shake-alongs we'll be doing more and more with our tea infusions, but then also going along to some of our other infusions as well. Well, Sonia, shall we get to it? Shall I go through the equipment that I've got and what we can use if you don't have any of this in your home right now? So for your glass, I've just got a simple tumbler. You can use any glass, a water glass. You could even use a taller glass if you wanted. I would say probably not a wine glass. That's the only one I wouldn't use for this recipe. For your top measure, so I've got a bar one here, which has got 25 mils this side and then 50 mils this side. But if you don't have one of these, if you've got an egg cup is generally about 30 mils if you fill that up. So that's a really nice thing to use if you don't have one of these top measures with you. My bar spoon, you can literally use any spoon you like. The bar spoon's nice because when you do fill it up, it has got about 5 mils in there. So when people say like a bar spoon of sugar syrup, that's what they mean. And then on to probably one of the most important things, the shaker. Hence why it's called a shake-along and not a stir-along. So with a shaker, don't necessarily need one like this. This is just one that I did buy. So I bought this whole set off of Amazon. I know. So I got the lovely rose gold one. I know Sonia has the matte black. But if you don't have a shaker at home, what you can use is any Tupperware container, because that'll work just the same. Just please make sure when you do use it, you've got your top on tight, because otherwise you're going to have cocktail everywhere. As fun as that sounds, it's not great in the cleanup. So, Sonia, shall I teach you how we're doing this one?
Yes, please.
All right. So we get our shaker.
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some ice in it. Now, I'm going to do something really sacrilegious in the actual bar world. I'm going to use my hands to put my ice in here because I know I'm going to drink it. But if other people are going to drink it, use your tongs or a spoon, okay?
I'm also using my hands.
Fantastic.
How much ice am I putting in, Steph?
So we want about a half a shaker's full of ice, because what we want to do is we really want to agitate the chili and the thyme leaves to make sure that we get all the flavour out of them.
Steph, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
In terms of a cocktail kit, do you recommend any online, or are they quite expensive? And are there any sort of substitutes we could use apart from the egg cup?
Yes, so I bought mine from Amazon and it was fairly inexpensive. It cost me about £25, and it actually came with the little sieve. It came with a hawthorn strainer as well, and some little optics. So if you just want to have a look through on Amazon, and I think maybe Sonia got hers from Amazon as well. but they come in really nice boxes, and it's got everything in it, and it's a great addition for your bar at home. If for a sieve, you can just use your normal kitchen sieve. These spoons, a teaspoon will work well as well. The Hawthorn strainer, that one's a little bit, yeah, could use a spoon, like when you carefully sort of pour things out and you hold it back with the spoon, that will do the same thing. All right, now we've got on our ice. We want our little top measure. So we want to do our mezcal, and it's about 25 mils. So I'm being very risky here, and I don't have it in a bottle. I'm just going to try and free pour it. Could go wrong, but it didn't. Fantastic. So what you want, just pop that in there, put that down. So what we're doing is we're just building the cocktail in the shaker, because what we don't want is, it's not really a layered cocktail with anything sort of doing different parts. We don't need to stir it at any point. We just want to put absolutely everything in here, shake it, and then dump it. So now we're going to do our 50 mils of Cointreau. Now, I know Sonia really likes Cointreau. I think it's her favourite liqueur ever.
I literally,
Sorry?
I mean, I've pre-weighed everything out already, so I'm literally just topping it in. But, I love Cointreau. I literally have.
I've eyeballed my Cointreau here, so.
Yeah, it's so delicious. I mean, everybody knows by now how much I love limes because I put them in everything. And lime Cointreau tonic, it's like the best combo. Add a bit of gin in there, perfect cocktail, shaked over ice, bosh.
Put a little top of soda on that if you wanted a little bit of a sparkle.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Now, after our Cointreau, we want Sonia's favourite. We want the lime juice. Done. So that's the 30 mils of lime juice. There it is, and it goes.
Cool.
All right, now the agave syrup. Now, Sonia has the agave syrup. I've got simple syrup. So it's 15 mils. So I know with my big jug of simple syrup, all I want to do is do sort of the spoon very small, so I can eyeball it, and that's about. I mean, you can add a little more sugar if you do want it slightly sweeter. You don't have to have it as tart as Sonia and I seem to like it. We quite like the acidic sort of zing to it.
Yeah.
And then what we want to do is we want to add our chili. So what I've done is I've just sort of sliced it up nicely here so you can see it. There it is. Straight in, pips and all, seeds and all. Because you want a little bit of fire.
I did not need pips in mine. I took them out. Because I'm a winner.
Well, so I say usually about a half a chili, but that completely depends on what you want personally. And then with the thyme, you usually get thyme and it's got quite a lot of stalk on it. So what you do want to do is you want to make sure you're pulling the leaves off and you're not getting that stalk into your shaker, because we're not straining this cocktail. We're just going to dump it straight in the glass. So I've got some over here. So it's usually about 3 sprigs of that, because you want that sort of earthy, that thymy. I like it because it is a slightly more savoury flavour that you get. Okay, Sonia, are you ready? Because it's time.
Oh my goodness, it's the shaking time, isn't it?
It's the shaking time.
So guys, I've got a competition here, a friendly one. Let's see who's the best shaker.
Oh gosh, it's so going to be Steph, obviously. I'll be lucky if this doesn't like burst open and go all over me. Okay.
Obviously, there's a technique to shaking. Where did you both learn how to shake your cocktails?
For me, it was probably less professional than Steph, but a few years ago, Hey Coffee were actually at the coffee festival, and we were making loads and loads of free cocktails, espresso martinis, for charity. So you could like donate to the charity and you got a free espresso martini. And I think I made like over 200 espresso martinis. And by the end of it, I had like cracked hands. I'm not sure I had much technique to it, but that was my first experience of making that many cocktails.
That's insane. Yeah. So I learned how to shake as a sommelier. So probably all the bartenders out there will be cringing slightly, because they're like, oh, a sommelier making cocktails. What is that? So I learned over at La Gavroche, where I used to be a sommelier, but I also bartended once a week to give the bartender a day off. So now tip is, if you are shaking, you want to shake sort of away from you so you don't get it all over you. But if you do have customers in front of you, you obviously don't want this end facing your customers, because then it'll all go out there. You want it facing you this way. So it depends where you are. If you're at home, face it outwards so you don't get absolutely drenched. If you're at work, pop it the other way and face it inwards.
Good tip. Cool.
All right, shall we? We want to do a nice vigorous shake, because what we really want is to mash up the, really get the flavour out the jalapenos and the thyme. So that's what we're doing here, not just cooling down the liquid. All right, let's go.
Great technique from you both there. Looking good, Sonia.
All right. I think.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I think we're good, Sonia.
Do I keep going, Steph?
No, we're good. We're good. All right.
Hands frozen, but it'll be worth
Yes.
it. Sure.
Oh my goodness. So, oh, that smells delicious. That smells great.
Wow. Really cool, Chick. Really, really cool.
So what we want to do is we just want to pop a little bit of ice in the glass, not too much, because obviously all the ice from the shake is going in here as well. Because it's quite a rustic cocktail. There's nothing fancy. There's nothing, you know, super double strained and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to dump it and drink it.
Chick,
all right.
if I'm thinking about the chilies, should I strain it?
Yes. So you can just get your strainer and pop it over your glass if you have a strainer, or you can get your Hawthorne one as well to go. But if you want all your chili out, the strainer will work the best. All right?
Yeah, I'm going to do that because I'm a winner.
Guys, we have another question in here. What alcoholic substitutions can you put into your cocktail rather than the ones you've used today?
The most obvious one today would be tequila, because it's the same it's the same flavor profile-ish. If you didn't want something mezcal or tequila, because I know a lot of people have got memories or slight issues with it, you could probably use a vodka, because that'll take on the flavor of the tea really nicely. I would say not gin, because the flavor profile with the chilies and the thyme may not work with a lot of the gin botanicals in them, but definitely a white spirit. So then to garnish, just simple as having some more lovely slices to put in there. And then I've got a slightly different kind of thyme here to the one we use. This is a broadleaf thyme that I've got in my garden, just because it stands up a little bit nicer for a garnish. And we'll just put that through one of the chilies, settle it in there, and there we have it. A lovely Jalapeno Later.
And now
the name came from the fact that there's jalapenos in it and there's thyme, so later, little play on words.
Such a play on words.
And how's yours stand out, Sonia?
Mine's really good. I think the difference in mine, I can kind of tell the colour's different, but I think that's because of the agave that I've used, which is slightly different. But yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, really cool. Good job,
Really
Chick.
refreshing. Mine's quite spicy, actually. Whew.
We've got a couple of questions here, obviously for either of you. Cocktails are quite sweet. What good food could be eaten with on a cocktail evening, I guess?
I mean, I said to Steph that I thought this drink went really, really well with pizza, just because you got the spice and it's quite like an indulgent, and this is quite refreshing. But I don't know, Steph, what are your thoughts?
I never thought of pizza before with this cocktail before Sonia said it, and I think it would work really well because it does have that acidity in it to cut through the richness of the cheese. I would also say that this would work really well with like a lime sorbet, so like a dessert, because I know one of my favorite desserts is lime sorbet with a shot of mezcal over it. And I had that in the restaurant Temper in Soho back when we could go to restaurants, which was super nice. Otherwise, I'd say definitely for drinking like an aperitivo, like before a meal, that kind of thing. I think that'll be probably one of the best things. And after a meal, actually anytime.
Brilliant. And we've got another question here as well about what's the difference between tequila and mezcal?
So I did touch on this earlier as well. So just a little bit more background on it. I guess tequila is like champagne is to sparkling wine. So it has to be made in the specific region, but it actually goes as far as how it's made as well. So the tequila is distilled in copper pots, whereas these ones are roasted and then over lava rocks and wood and charcoal. So it's more sort of like they've got that smoky charcoal burn to the actual agave plant and then distilled in clay pots. So those are the main differences between the two.
Great, thank you. And Sonia, you spoke earlier about rare tea, but should we just be thinking about that specific tea, or what other brands would you recommend?
I think that when you're looking at doing stuff like this, you want to go for a good quality tea. You could, of course, if you've got tea pigs in your cupboard, which is a really nice sort of chunkier leaf type tea, take it out of the bags and do some play around with infusing it. But yeah, I definitely say don't skimp on it. I don't think you could use any sort of paper tea bag tea for this, because the quality just wouldn't be there, especially when you're doing infusions. I don't know if you'll remember, but one of the first webcasts we did, we spoke about how in the paper tea bags, a lot of the tea is pretty much powdered because it's chopped so thin, and it's usually a lower quality tea that's in them. And so something like a good quality loose leaf tea where you can see all of the surface area and it's a nice bold tea leaf that you're getting, I think that's what I would go for. So yeah, for me personally, I'd always just go rare because I love it. But yeah, if you were looking at, to be honest with you, there's loads of really good tea companies in London at the moment that could definitely use some online ordering support. But yeah, also definitely some tea pigs. They've got quite a wide range as well. I think we're going to be doing some recipes in the coming weeks in various shake-alongs, kind of playing on the different flavours that you can get from those teas. So yeah, watch this space for sure.
And just on that, when you are sort of creating your own cocktail recipes, because there's nothing, this doesn't mean you can't go home, play, experiment with your own. But the one tip I do have is think about what flavors work when you eat them in food and that sort of thing, and then relate those flavors back into your cocktail. That's how you'll have always a balanced and well integrated flavors in your cocktail. So I know when we infuse our gins, mezcals, I've even infused Cointreau with some rooibos. It's all about either matching the flavors or having that real stark contrast. Like we did a raspberry and mint infusion in one of our gins, which actually worked really well. So watch this space. That recipe could be coming out on episode 2 of our shake along. But yeah, so when you are making your own recipes, always just have a look at the flavor profiles you want to get. And if you do have anything that you come up with, do send them across through our social media channels. We'd love to see them.
Fantastic. Sonia, Sean has written in to say, if you drink all of that, Sonia, you'll be on the floor. I think that's right there, Sonia, do you not think?
I think normally, I mean, this is the first time I've actually made a recipe where it's all different spirits mixed together with a bit of tea. Normally mine are like that much tea and tonic and that much spirit. So this was like a proper cocktail if I was to go out, which I love. To be fair, Sean, I'll probably only drink this one and take the rest of the afternoon off because I'm not sure I'll be too cohesive after I finish it.
And lastly,
I'm sorry, Sonia, I think probably that's my influence there, making you drink proper cocktails and not your sort of tea infusions.
Yeah, pretty sure my tea sangria was that much alcohol to that much tea. So yeah, you can tell who come up with the recipe depending on the alcohol levels for sure.
Yeah, that's one way to decide it.
And our last question, because that's all we probably have time for, is another fun one for both of you. Obviously, when you're shaking your cocktails, normally everyone has their own theme tune. What would you both have?
Oh, wow. I already know mine. Probably a Caroline-inspired band, but Outcast, Shake It Like a Polaroid Picture. I think that's normally what plays in my head.
No.
Oh, Sonia, that's a great one. I think my one would have to be the Tequila song, you know, da 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 da. Yeah. Especially for this one, seeing as we've used Mezcal.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys.
That's all. Happy Thirsty Thursday, everybody. I hope you enjoy.
I'm sure we will. And that's all from us today. So thanks so much to Steph and Sonia for that amazing shake up. I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of shaking of cocktails this weekend. And we hope you will join us tomorrow with Sassy Sidra, who will be sharing their delicious cider cocktail recipes. Meanwhile, for more information about our programme of discussions, please go to RA Group's website at www.ragroup.co.uk/news to download the broadcast links. Meanwhile, if you have any questions or suggestions about how you can get involved, email gavin.goody@ragroup.co.uk. Thank you for joining us today. Have a fantastic evening and see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place.